Assalamu alaikum. Welcome again to my math school. This is Bilal sir for you with a new topic that is understanding quadrilaterals. This is the chapter 3rd of class 8th. So let's begin. Before coming to the definition of quadrilaterals, let us see some definitions of curves. First of all, what does we mean by a curve? What does we mean by a curve? Curve किसको कहते हैं? Curve क्या होती है? Simply, a curve is nothing but, in simple words, we can say that it is a line that is bent. It is a line that is bent or not straight. We can say like this. This is a curve. This is a curve because it is a line which is bent or which is not straight. In other words, we can say that एक curve जो होती है, it is simply the locus of a point. It is the locus of a point. Locus means path of a point. एक point की ये path होती है जो ऐसे मूव करता है, that moves in such a way so that it does not have a fixed direction. It does not have a fixed direction. अगर हम एक point को मूव करते हैं ऐसे, here it has a fixed direction or unique direction that becomes a straight line. But whenever a point does not have a definite direction, it can move like this, it can move like this, so it forms a curve. It forms a curve. So a curve is simply what? A line that is bent. That is bent or locus of a point which moves so that it does not have a definite direction. It does not have a definite direction. This was about what does we mean by a curve. Now there are different types of curves. First one is simple curve. Simple curve and a curve that is not simple. Not simple. What does we mean by a simple curve? Simple curve is that curve. Simple curve is that curve which does not have crossovers or which does not contain crossovers. Okay? सिंपल कर्व उस कर्व को कहते हैं जिसमें क्रॉसओवर्स नहीं होते हैं. इट मे बी ओपन और इट मे बी क्लोज्ड. ये जो सिंपल कर्व है ये ओपन भी हो सकती है, ये क्लोज्ड भी हो सकती है. इट मे बी ओपन और क्लोज्ड बट इट डज नॉट हैव क्रॉसओवर्स. फॉर एग्जांपल अगर ये मैं लूंगा, दिस इज अ कर्व, this is a curve. If I will take it, this is an open curve. This is an open curve because it is not bounded. It is not surrounded through all sides. It is not bounded on all directions. So it is an open curve. And also it is a simple curve because it does not contain crossovers. Crossovers means this curve line does not intersect itself. Okay. Now, what does we mean by simple closed curve? Simple closed curve. Simple closed curve just like a circle. Just because it is closed and also does not have any crossover. What does we mean by a crossover? Crossover is like this. Because it crosses itself. That is what we mean by a by the crossover. It does not this a curve that contains any crossover, that is called a what that is said to be not simple. Just like this, if we take another example, this curve, it is not simple. It is not simple. Okay, we can also take simple closed curve. We can take the example of this. We can take example of this. We can take another example like this. This is another example of simple closed curve, or we can take a curve like this. This is again a simple closed curve. These are closed curves. This is an open curve. These are simple closed curves because इनमें crossovers नहीं है. They does not contain crossovers. और ये जो है, these curves are not simple. These are not simple. Or we can say, if we take this is also not simple. Okay, this was about the simple closed curve or simple curve. These are also simple. These are simple curves and also closed. This one is closed, this one, and this one, this one. This is open. Simple curve, but it is open. It is open. These are not simple closed curve. These are not simple curves. Then this is a closed curve, but it is not simple. This is a closed curve, but this is not simple. Okay. Now let's move forward. A simple closed curve, a simple closed curve made up of only line segments. Line segments made up of only line segments is called a polygon. Is called a polygon. उसको हम क्या कहते हैं? Polygon कहते हैं. A simple closed curve made up of only line segments is called a polygon. जैसे अगर हम यहाँ पे चलेंगे, ये this one circle is not made up of line segments, so this is not a polygon. This is not a polygon. अगर हम ये देखेंगे, it is a simple closed curve made up of only line segments. This is a polygon, so this is a polygon and this is also a polygon because these are made up of only what? Line segments. So a simple closed curve made up of only line segments is called a polygon. Now, on this definition, we have different types of polygons. We have different types of polygons. First one is convex polygon. Convex polygon. Second one is concave polygon. Third one is a regular polygon, and fourth one is irregular polygon. So on the basis of this definition, a polygon have been divided into 4 categories or classified into 4 types. First one is convex, second is concave, third is regular, and fourth one is irregular. Fourth one is irregular. Before going to these definitions, we will learn another term that is known as a diagonal. What does we mean by a diagonal? Look here. Suppose this is a polygon. It is a polygon, and this one is also a polygon. This one is also a polygon. Okay. Now, see, if we join two non-adjacent means between those two vertices there is no edge, or they lie on different sides. and also they are non-consecutive. They are non-consecutive. जो दो non-consecutive या non-adjacent vertices को ज्वाइन करेगी, जो लाइन सेगमेंट उनको आपस में ज्वाइन करेगी, उसको डायगोनल कहते हैं. फॉर एग्जाम्पल यहाँ पे नॉन एडजेसेंट, ये और ये एडजेसेंट है, बट ये और ये एक को छोड़ के तो ये बनता है इसमें डायगोनल. ये लाइन सेगमेंट डायगोनल कहलाती है. और लाइकवाइज दिस ज्वाइनिस दीज टू वर्टिसेस, तो ये भी डायगोनल है. अगर हम यहाँ पे देखेंगे तो ये और ये, दिस वर्टेक्स एंड दिस वर्टेक्स, दीज आर, शाबाश, these are non-adjacent, and also we can say this is also a diagonal. This is also a diagonal for this polygon. Okay, now this was about the diagonals. What does we mean by a diagonal? What does we mean by a diagonal? Now let's come to the definition of convex polygon. What does we mean by a convex polygon? Convex polygon is that polygon. Okay, convex polygon is that polygon in which the diagonal lies within the figure, within the curve, within the closed curve, or we can say that the diagonal lies in the interior. Diagonal lies in the interior. जो कॉन्वेक्स पॉलीगन है उसमें जो डायगोनल्स होते हैं, या एक डायगोनल या सारे डायगोनल्स, जितने भी डायगोनल्स होंगे वो कहाँ पे लाई करेंगे? दे लाई इन द इंटीरियर ऑफ द कर्व. ठीक, पॉलीगन के अंदर वो होंगे. दिस इज फर्स्ट प्रॉपर्टी. सेकंड वन इज उनका हर एक जो एंगल है, हर एक एंगल, each angle of a convex polygon is less than 180 degree. वो 180 डिग्री से कम होते हैं. उनका हर एक एंगल is less than 180. These are the two definitions of what? Of a convex polygon. So what does we mean by a convex polygon? A polygon whose diagonals lie within the curve, or within the polygon is called a convex polygon, or a polygon in which each angle is less than 180 degree is called a convex polygon. Likewise, for example, अगर हम यहाँ पे देखेंगे, this one is a convex, क्योंकि इसके जो डायगोनल्स है दे लाई इन द इंटीरियर. अनदर एग्जांपल अगर हम लेंगे, अगर हम काइट की एग्जांपल लेंगे, दिस इज ए काइट. इसमें भी अगर आप डायगोनल्स देखोगे तो वो भी लाई करते हैं कहाँ पे? विद इन द कर्व. तो ये भी क्या है? दिस इज आल्सो कॉन्वेक्स. नाउ लेट्स मूव टू कॉनकेव. जो कॉनकेव पॉलीगन होता है, इसमें क्या होता है? द डायगोनल्स मे लाई आउटसाइड. द डायगोनल, एट लीस्ट वन डायगोनल, या सारे या एक भी हो सकता है जो लाई करता है कहाँ पे? आउटसाइड. जो लाई करता है आउटसाइड द पॉलीगन. फॉर एग्जांपल अगर हम ये वाली एग्जांपल लेंगे, ये किसकी एग्जांपल है? इट इज कॉनकेव. ओके, तो इसमें जो डायगोनल्स होते हैं, डायगोनल्स लाई in the exterior. इंटीरियर में भी होंगे, लेकिन एटलीस्ट वन या सारे भी एक्सटीरियर. अगर एक भी होगा एक्सटीरियर में, उसको भी कॉनकेव कहते हैं, कॉनकेव पॉलीगन. और दूसरी जो इसकी प्रॉपर्टी है, दैट इज कि इसका एटलीस्ट वन एंगल should be or must be greater than 180. एक एंगल ग्रेटर देन 180 होना चाहिए. फॉर एग्जांपल अगर आप इसकी तरफ देखेंगे, ये क्यों? एक तो डायगोनल आउटसाइड लाई करता है, ये होगी एक प्रॉपर्टी इसकी. एक डिफिनेशन। दूसरी जो है एट लीस्ट वन एंगल मस्ट बी ग्रेटर देन 180, तो वहाँ पे अगर आप ये वाला एंगल देखेंगे, इस एंगल का रिफ्लेक्स एंगल, इट इज़ ग्रेटर देन 180, it is greater than 180, greater than 180, so this becomes a concave polygon. It is a concave polygon. Now let's move to the third type of polygon, that is regular polygon. Regular polygon is that polygon which is equilateral and equiangular. Equilateral and equiangular. Equilateral means all the sides of this polygon are of equal length, and equiangular means all the angles are of equal measure or same measure. Okay, this type regular polygon means it is that polygon which is equilateral and equiangular, both. It is equilateral and not or, it is both equilateral and equiangular. For example, if we take an equilateral triangle in which all the sides are equal and also all the angles are equal, this is a regular polygon. Likewise, if we take four-sided, that is these are same, it is known as a square. This is a square. So square is what? It is a regular polygon. And also equilateral triangle is a regular polygon. Likewise, there are many more polygons which are regular, like regular pentagon, regular hexagon, regular octagon, heptagon. Okay, but these two are the examples of this regular polygon. Now let's move to irregular polygon. What does we mean by irregular? Irregular is the opposite of this regular. That means whose sides and angles are different. So angles may be different and sides may be of different lengths. That is called an just like if we take this. If we take this is a trapezium, just like trapezium. So this is an irregular polygon. This was about this basis about on the diagonals or these angles. Now, depending upon the number of sides, what does we mean by a polygon? Polygon, it is the combination of two maybe Greek words, that is poly and gon. Poly means many, and gon means sides. So a figure with many sides is called a polygon. A figure with many sides is called a polygon. Okay, now depending upon the number of sides, a polygon has been divided into many types. If you take a polygon with three sides, a polygon with three sides is called a triangle. A polygon with four sides, a polygon with four sides, a polygon with five sides, a polygon with six sides, a polygon with seven sides, a polygon with eight sides, a polygon with nine sides, a polygon with 10 sides. So these are the polygons classified on the basis of the number of sides. A polygon with 3 sides is called a triangle, and a polygon with 4 sides or a 4-sided figure is known as a quadlateral. 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 This one, understanding quadlaterals, that is what refers to the name of this chapter. We have to understand many quadrilaterals in this chapter. That is the name of this chapter, that is the quadrilaterals. So a 4-sided figure or a polygon with 4 sides is called a quadrilateral. A polygon with 5 sides is called a pentagon. A polygon with 6 sides is called a hexagon. A polygon with 7 sides is called a heptagon. And a polygon with 8 sides is called a octagon, and a polygon with 9 sides nonagon, and a polygon with 10 sides is called a decagon. It's called a decagon. So this was about the polygons. I will repeat this. A curve is simply a line that is bent, or the locus of a point which does not move in a definite direction. Now there are two types of curves, simple and not simple. What does we mean by simple curve? Simple curve is that curve which does not contain any crossovers, which does not contain any crossover. That means उसमें ऐसा नहीं होगा, ठीक, crossover नहीं होगा. Not simple means that contains crossovers like this. And simple has two types. Simple curve may be it may be open or closed. Open is like this, and closed simple closed curves are like this. This is a simple closed curve, simple closed, simple closed, simple closed, simple closed. So by looking or by keeping this in mind, you can do, आप easily कर सकते हो जो क्वेश्चन नंबर फर्स्ट है किसका, एक्सरसाइज 3.1 का. You can do that easily. So depending upon this, now a simple closed curve made up of only line segments is called a polygon. Polygon के चार टाइप्स हमने डिस्कस किए यहाँ पे, convex, concave, regular and irregular. Okay, so these are the properties of or definitions of these 4 polygons, and depending upon the number of sides, a polygon has been divided into these types: triangle, quadrilateral, pentagon, hexagon, heptagon, octagon, nonagon, and decagon. This was something about the introduction of these understanding quadrilaterals. So be in touch with this. In coming lectures we will go through the exercise, and also there is much more to come for you. So don't forget to subscribe my math school. Thank you.